Now, as soon as we hear the name Sri Vallabhācārya, there are some mixed feelings in the mind of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Because apparently Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Vallabhācārya, they had a difference of opinion about one particular topic, that was Sri Vallabhācārya did not agree with some points of Srila Sridhar Swami, whereas Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always agreed with Srila Sridhar Swami. Besides that one point of disagreement, the relationship between Sri Vallabhācārya and the 6 Goswamis was very friendly. In fact, it is said that the area around Radhakund, the entire area of Radhakund, was purchased by Sri Raghunath Das Goswami from the son of Sri Vallabhācārya, Sri Vithalnath, for a sum total of 14 Indian rupees at that time. And this area was purchased so that the Gaudiya Vaishnavas could have access, unrestricted access to this area of Sri Radhakund. So relationships between both sampradayas have been very nice traditionally, except for a few points of difference. But the Goswamis were very generous, and Sri Rupa Goswami mentioned the philosophy of Sri Vallabhācārya by name in his Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Sri Rupa Goswami said, Pushti Margataya Kaishchit Iha Raganugochate. What I call Raganuga Bhakti, some Vaishnavas call it Pushti Marg, their devotees. So Sri Rupa Goswami acknowledged Sri Vallabhācārya's path as a genuine path in his Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. And what we call Vaidhi Bhakti, Sri Vallabhācārya calls it Maryada Marg. So they have two paths. Maryada means restrictions, Maryada Marg, Vaidhi Bhakti, and Pushti Marg, which we call as Raganuga Bhakti. So dear devotees, today's presentation is based on his very important, wonderful teaching, and we will also see statements from our recent acharyas glorifying Sri Vallabhācārya. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he glorified Sri Vallabhācārya, and we will see those statements, and we will try to learn from him what we can do when we face real world problems on a day-to-day basis, dear devotees. But before we begin, in order to ensure auspiciousness for the assembly, we will have to perform Mangalacharan, auspicious invocations. Most of us know these verses. You can kindly sing along with me. Om Ajnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Krishe Namah. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabha Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. So we'll begin with a statement that Srila Prabhupada gave in the very first purport of the very first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. The devotees will begin with a statement by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Uvacha. Prabhu, you can kindly read what Srila Prabhupada says.
Within the past 500 years, many erudite scholars and acharyas like Jiva Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Vallabhācārya, and many other distinguished scholars, even after the time of Lord Chaitanya, made elaborate commentaries on the Bhagavatam. And the serious student who do well to attempt to go through them to better relish the transcendental messages.
So dear devotees, Srila Prabhupada says anybody who wishes to be a serious student, how many of us wish to be a serious student? Of course. So we should relish messages from all the previous acharyas because there is much to learn from various acharyas. There is a verse in the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam which says, Nahi ekasmad guror jnanam susthiram syat supushkalam. If you learn only from one source, your knowledge does not become very firm. So always learn from various angles and various points of view, especially the Vaishnava acharyas Srila Prabhupada has mentioned here. By learning from various angles and various points of view, we become very well versed and fixed in the philosophy. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he authored one book called as the Four Vaishnava Acharyas. This book is available in English. And this book, Four Vaishnava Acharyas, he gave the complete philosophy of the Four Vaishnava Acharyas with the minute details of the philosophy and the overall message that each Acharya wants to present. And it was expected from the disciples of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada that they should also know the philosophy of the Four Vaishnava Acharyas. How many of us have visited Mayapur and seen the Gaudiya Mutt where all the Four Vaishnava Acharyas Murti is there, So dear devotees, this is because we Gaudiya Vaishnavas should know the darshan, the philosophy of all the Vaishnava Acharyas. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur makes a very important point. When we study any particular personality or any particular school, we should study not as a critic, but we should study as if we are students of that school. That is how you genuinely understand a particular school. Because sometimes we study a school with the mentality of finding faults in it. But if we really want to study a particular school, we should study as if we are followers of that particular school. Anyway, Sri Vallabhācārya school is a Vaishnava school, and there have been many similarities between the two paths. Sri Rupa Goswami did not mention any other sampradaya in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu except for the sampradaya of Sri Vallabhācārya, that is Pushti Marga. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur makes the following comment. Prabhu, kindly read what Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada has to say.
Sri Vallabhācārya Maharaj offered a great service to the world of Vaishnavas, so the world of the Vaishnavas is indebted to him. He properly refuted the arguments of the Mayavada philosophy. His Anubhasa commentary of the Brahma Sutras is evidence of that. Many of the descendants in the Sri Vallabhācārya Sampradaya have taken great care to refute Mayavada philosophy.
So dear devotees, there are many points of similarity between both the Sampradayas, the Sampradaya of Sri Vallabhācārya and the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Today's presentation is based on those particular points of similarity. Dear devotees, before I begin speaking something from Sri Vallabhācārya, I'd like to give a precursor, a prelude to that, because his particular text, Wisdom, Patience and Surrender, that is the name of his text. Original name is Viveka-dhairya-āśraya. That is the original name of his text. Is very helpful for those devotees who are facing problems in day-to-day life. How many of us are facing problems in day-to-day life? Please raise your hands. Of course. And let's say today morning you faced a problem and you come to Hari Parshad Das and say, Prabhu, I am facing, Vishal Prabhu comes to me, Prabhu, I am facing a problem. And I tell him, Vishal Prabhu, Krishna Prem is the solution to everything. So Vishal Prabhu may say, all right, it is the solution. but I need something immediate. So, before I attain Krishna Prem, is there something I can do on an immediate basis? So I need some help. So dear devotees, Sri Vallabhācārya's works are very helpful in that particular aspect. But dear devotees, before that I will tell you, the entire world is troubled by various problems. And the greatest amount of problems are to be found in householder life. How many of you agree? Hare, don't be shy. I'll raise my hands. But it is also a fact, dear devotees, that household life is very sweet, and for this reason even Bhagavan selects householder life. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one fine day, before he got married, he had a thought in his mind. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought like this. Please sing after me. Grihini vina griha dharma naha shobhana eta chinti vivakarite hailamana. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought, Grihini vina griha dharma na hai shobhan. Without a wife, there is no meaning to householder life. So dear devotees, the reason why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu thought like this is because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was staying at home. He was not exactly staying in a brahmacharya ashram. He was staying with his mother at home. And there is no beauty to a home unless who is present? A wife. A lady, the lady of the home is present. Because believe me, I have stayed in a bachelor's hostel for a few days and I didn't like the experience at all. How many of you have stayed in a bachelor's pad? Bachelor's, you know where bachelors stay? Bachelor's hostel. Yeah. And where there is no touch of a lady, you can immediately notice that there is no elegance in that place. And as soon as there is the touch of a lady to a particular home, immediately everything becomes decorated and nice. Isn't it? How many of you agree? Yeah, I agree. Alright, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then quoted a verse. Na griham grihamityahu grihini grihamuchyate taya hi sahitah sarvan purusharthan samashnute.
Merely a house is not a home, for it is a wife who gives a home its meaning. If one lives at home with his wife, together they can fulfill all the interests of human life.
So this, dear devotees, is a verse which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally spoke before he got married. There can be meaning to a home without a husband, but there is no meaning to a home without a wife, dear devotees. This is very clear. Homes are centered around the ladies in Vedic culture. There is no doubt about that. When two people get married, husband and wife, they enter the home for the first time. Before they enter the home, there are Vedic mantras. Sambragi bhava shvashurasya. Now you are the queen. That is what the Vedic mantra says. Now you are the queen. And the older queen should move in the background, dear devotees. So this is what is specified in the Vedic mantras before the girl enters the home for the first time. So the lady takes charge of the home and she is given complete responsibility of the home, dear devotees. And this is what a grihini, this is what a lady fulfills the purpose of householder life. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also wanted to do that. Ideally, dear devotees, a marriage is supposed to be very joyous. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had such a joyous wedding, such a joyous marriage. in his particular pastimes. But unfortunately, dear devotees, most of us today are, situated in such positions. Some of us are not married, some of us are looking for marriage, some of us fell in love but fell out of love, some of us are married, some of us after marriage fell out of love, and some of us are separated, dear devotees. This relationship of love in the material world causes distress in all possible ways, no matter which situation you are in. Many of us might have heard lectures or talks that household life is so full of troubles, better to stay alone. How many of you have heard such talks? Please. So they say stay in the Vallabhācārya ashram. Dear devotees, in order to avoid troubles of household life, you should stay in which ashram? Vallabhācārya ashram. But such statements are made while forgetting the fact that brahmachari is also ashram. And dear devotees, what is the meaning of ashram? The technical meaning is A means complete, and shram. What is the meaning of shram? Hard work. Dear devotees, all four ashrams are complete places of hard work, shram. And if you see the rules for Brahmacharya ashram in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Narad Muni is personally going to say how a brahmachari should live. Should I specify some of the rules? A brahmachari should wake up before the guru wakes up, dear devotees. A brahmachari should be present before the guru wakes up and should be present for seva. As soon as the guru wakes up, the brahmachari should make all facilities available for the guru. Then the brahmachari should help the guru in the daily worship, and the brahmachari should go to sleep only after the guru sleeps.
That means the brahmachari should live with the guru.
Yeah, live with the guru. Constant life with the guru and study of the Vedas. And the brahmachari should, the Srimad Bhagavatam said, the brahmachari should have the bark of a tree for wearing, dear devotees. You can see that in the 7th canto. I am not lying about it. So dear devotees, this is what brahmachari life is. And if you look into what sannyas is in the same canto, what sannyas ashram is. Yesterday I gave one verse. A sannyasi is not supposed to read Rasa Shastra, Alankar Shastra. Sannyas is social suicide. There is no, Prabhupada was very absolutely correct when Prabhupada said sannyas is social suicide. So dear devotees, in Kali Yuga, all ashrams are compromised. All ashrams are compromised. And everybody is situated in a very precarious situation. There is a verse in the Subhashit literature which says, Ha kashtam khalu vartate Kali Yuge dhanya naraye mrita. Ha kashtam khalu vartate Kali Yuge. Alas, we don't know what distress there is in Kali Yuga. Dhanya nara. Only one person is happy in Kali Yuga. Ye mrita. He who is dead. Only that person is happy. At least for him we can say rest in peace, isn't it?
How long?
How long? Yeah. Otherwise, they are all suffering in their respective situations, no matter whether they are married, unmarried, in love, out of love, whatever situation. And I will take every situation one by one. Alright, dear devotees, because so that all of us are on that equal platform of suffering. Because unless we are all like-minded in suffering, we cannot proceed ahead. Yeah, that will come later. But at least let us establish that we are disturbed in this age of Kali Yuga. Dear devotees, the Srimad Bhagavatam says that any relationship between man and woman is the greatest distress of life for both of them. And this instruction is not repeated once but twice. First in the 3rd canto by Kapil Muni, then in the 11th canto by Bhagavan Krishna to Uddhava. This is the instruction, dear devotees. Please repeat after me. Na tathasya bhavet klesho bandhaschanya prasangatah yoshit sangar yatha pumso yatha tat sangi sangatah.
Of all kinds of suffering and bondage arising from various attachments, none is greater than the suffering and bondage arising from attachment to woman or from intimate contact with those attached to woman.
So this instruction is repeated not once but twice in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Now somebody may say this is only speaking for men, because men, we poor men, all of us here, this side. We are the ones who are suffering. We are the victims here. How many of you agree? Please raise your hands. Yeah, I'll give you strength. Please raise your hands. We poor men, we are the victims. We suffer because Srimad Bhagavatam says any contact with a lady puts us into suffering. And it repeats the instruction twice, first in the 3rd canto, then in the 11th canto. But please tell me, in love, does one person suffer or both people suffer? Please tell me. Both people usually suffer. Dear devotees, how many of us have fallen in love? Please raise your hands. Yeah. Oh, you are Hare Krishna, you don't fall in love. I first. Dear devotees, in love both people have to cry. So the Srimad Bhagavatam will also speak from the side of the ladies, that the lady also has to suffer in a relationship with a man. And this is spoken by Kapil Muni in the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Tamatmano vijaniya patya patya grihatmakam daivopasaditam mrityum mragayor gayanam yatha.
A woman therefore should consider her husband, her house and her children to be the arrangement of the external energy of the Lord for her death, just as the sweet singing of the hunter is death for the deer.
Yes. So now we are on the same page, dear devotees.
Like-minded.
Like-minded. You can see for a lady there is so much suffering that the husband is considered to be equivalent to death for the lady. So it is ensured that the lady dies 100 times before her actual death within a marriage. See, I am speaking my heart to you, I am between friends, so I am speaking my heart to you. I can only speak informally if I am amongst friends. So I am speaking my heart to you. A man has to die 100 times before his actual death, and a lady definitely dies 100 times. And some men may not agree, but you will never come to realize it unless you experience the pain of childbirth. And men will never experience that pain. Only a lady can experience the pain of childbirth, and she knows what it is. In Shastra it is said sometimes it is equivalent to the pain of death, dear devotees. So, many times a lady has to experience much distress in relationship with a man. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is equal for everybody. Men or women, Kapil Muni was speaking to both people. Also, what adds fuel to this fire? We'll go back to the previous verse. Not only the direct contact of men and women, but also intimate contact with those who are attached to women. What is being said here is, the entire society revolves around a narrative of romanticism. You know what is romanticism? A philosophy which says that you are born to find that one person who will complete you. And you only need to try hard enough. One day, that one person will come in your life. And then, you will find your precise match. And both of you will be like yin and yang. You know what is yin and yang? And After yin and yang meet each other, you will live happily ever after. And that's where the movie ends.
Then the drama starts.
Yeah, and because you cannot show what is after that, Dear devotees, in this world, the most compatible relationship was Bhagavan Shiva and Sati. This material world. The most compatible relationship was Bhagavan Shiva and Devi Sati. And they also had a disagreement. She wanted to visit her parents' home and he was saying, don't go. Isn't it? So if Bhagavan Shiva and Devi Sati experience incompatibility in this world, what should be said about the rest of us? So you will never find that yin and yang combination in this world. So, but that philosophy of romanticism and the unlimited movies that are made around it, that put people into that delusion that no, you just need to try hard enough. First time failure, no problem, try second time. Or second time failure, no problem, try third time. Definitely you will find. And this, dear devotees, is intimate contact with those who are attached to women or the opposite gender. This is what the verse is trying to speak about. And the entire society is built around this. Then there are some people who say, I'll avoid the entire problem, I'll not get married. Now, they don't understand that remaining unmarried, or what you technically call Brahmacharya-āśrama, is also ashram. A means complete and shram means hard work. Because Shastra also says something, a person is incomplete without a spouse. Please repeat after me. This is in the Shatapatha Brahman. Sri Vyasadeva says, Yavajjayam na vindate asarvo hi tavad bhavati.
As long as a man is
Human.
As long as a human doesn't attain a spouse, they remain incomplete.
So that feeling of incompleteness remains within them and they suffer from so much loneliness. Ask those who are staying alone how much loneliness they are experiencing. It is not so much sense desire that troubles them as much as loneliness. Because actually the desire to meet a partner is nothing but a desire to end one's loneliness in this world. And therefore, those people who are saying, I will be happy without getting married, ask them after a few years, are you happy? Are you happy? Oh, if only I could find someone compatible. So that is within the core of their hearts. But externally they may say, yeah, Prabhu, I am happy. Dear devotees, for such people who are alone, their misery is described by Bhartrihari in Shringar Shatakam. Bhartrihari, very famous Sanskrit poet. Yesterday I mentioned a verse from him. He speaks about the misery of those people who are never able to find a partner or for some reason remain unmarried. This is their misery. Smrita bhavati tapaya drishta chonmadakarini sprishta bhavati mohaya sanamadaita katham. Smrita bhavati tapaya. When I remember her, he is speaking for a lady and it also applies to a lady who is thinking of a man. Smrita bhavati tapaya. When I remember her, alas, it burns my heart. And any lady, dear devotees, he is speaking about, any beautiful lady, he is saying, if I remember any lady who is beautiful, my heart starts burning. Very honest he is, Bhartrihari. Drishta. Suddenly while walking, if I see a beautiful lady, unmadakarini, my heart starts swooning. What should I do? And sprishta, if while walking accidentally I happen to touch her, mohaya, I fall into delusion for the entire day. Any contact with her, mental, visual or physical, is troublesome to me. Sa nama daita katham. Why do people call her dear? Because ladies and gentlemen, they call each other dear. So why do people call them dear when any contact with them is troublesome? So this is what Bhartrihari says, describing the situation of people who are without a spouse. This is the translation, Prabhu.
Remembering her makes me burn, looking at her makes me swoon, and touching her leads to big delusion. She troubles me in all my senses. Why then is she named Daita, dear one?
She should be named the cruel one, not the dear one. And same applies the other way. For a lady also, when she sees, when she hears, or accidentally if some touch happens, oh my goodness, there is immense delusion. So why call each other dear when you are behaving so cruelly towards each other? This is what Bhartrihari says. This, dear devotees, is the condition of people who have never gotten married. And then there is also the set of people who fell in love, dear devotees. This is also one section of society who fell in love but could not attain the completion of their love. You can't imagine the suffering of those people. Can't imagine. A classic example of this is given in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, where Pururava and Urvashi become attached to each other. How many of you have heard about the pastime of Urvashi and Pururava? Yes. Urvashi is a damsel in the heavenly planets. And heavenly planets are not ruled by strict rules of Varnashram. This planet Earth is ruled by strict rules of Varnashram. Heavenly planets do not have such strict rules. Narad Muni goes to the heavenly planets and he glorifies King Pururava. So Urvashi becomes a little attached to Pururava and Urvashi comes to planet Earth, and then there is the first meeting of Urvashi and Pururava. Pururava becomes hopelessly attached in love, but the residents of heaven don't like the fact that this is a match between a heavenly girl and an earthly man. And this match has no future, dear devotees. Therefore, the match is not successful and Urvashi leaves. Pururava becomes mad, searching for her. He is a king and he gives up all his kingly duties. And Pururava starts looking for her like a madman in the forest. At least I will be able to see her once. You know what is the desire in his heart? The desire is, I just want to see you once and ask you one question. Are you okay? Are you okay? So those of you who have experienced failure in love, you will be able to empathize with Pururava, dear devotees. Are you okay? This is all I want to know. Pururava, after many years of searching, one day on the banks of a river sees Urvashi along with a few friends of hers. And at that time Pururava shouts out loudly. Please repeat what Pururava said. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam. Aho jaye tishta tishta Ghore na tyaktum arhasi Mam tvam adyapa nirvritya Vachamsi krinavavahai. Aho jaye, my loved one. Tishta, tishta. Please wait. Please wait. Before you go, please wait. Ghore, you cruel one. Wait. Na tyaktum arhasi. Adyapi anirvritya. Today, without making me happy, you should not go away. You go away. No problem, you go away. But first, make me happy today. And how should I make you happy, Pururava? Vachamsi Krinavavai. Can we at least speak for a few moments? Vachamsi, little words. Are you okay? So look at the condition of people in all phases of life. Look at this condition. Then there are people who fall in love and their love becomes successful. They get married to their first love. First love is very special. And they get married to their first love. And after they get married to the first love, few years later, things change. Because it is the rule of the material world that everything in the material world undergoes 6 transformations. How many of us know the 6 transformations of the material world? Anybody knows? Yes. First, please repeat after me. Birth, existence, increase, transformation, dwindling, death. Anything in the material world undergoes 6 transformations. Birth, existence, increase, transformation, dwindling, death. This is also true for relationships. Dear devotees, all good relationships, even in the material world, are a combination of 2 factors. And these 2 factors, dear devotees, please repeat after me. Union, separation. And because marriage is constant union, it destroys the relationship gradually. I hope you are able to understand.
They say love is blind. After marriage you get your eyesight back.
Yeah. Love is blind and after marriage you get your eyesight. So constant union destroys a relationship, dear devotees. Bhartrihari also mentions this. Please repeat after me. Yuyam vayam vayam yuyam Ityasin matiravayo Kim jatam adhuna mitra Yuyam yuyam vayam vayam. Dear devotees, I will first tell you the Sanskrit meaning so you can directly relish the verse. Yuyam means you and vayam means I. I hope you are able to understand. Yuyam means you, vayam means I. So, when we met for the first time, how were we thinking? Yuyam vayam. You are me. And vayam yuyam. And I am you. Iti asin matir. This was our mind. Kim jatam adhuna. What happened suddenly after so many years, my friend? Yuyam yuyam. Vayam vayam. Please read the translation, Prabhu.
You are you.
Previously, we both used to think that you are me and I am you. Dear love, what happened now? Suddenly you became you and I became I.
Yeah. See, the elegance of Bhartrihari is in capturing these emotions exactly. And therefore, dear devotees, the modern psychologists have invented a term for this. Besides Shastra, we should also keep up to some things in the modern world. So they call it slippage in marriage. You know what is slippage? Slippage means 2 people get together, then suddenly there is a crack, a small crack, and this small crack over a period of time, yuyam yuyam vayam vayam, you became you and I became I. So this happens in all good relationships unless both people are proactively trying to renew their relationship from time to time. So dear devotees, each and everyone is suffering, no matter which situation of life they are in. I hope all of us are on the same page now. Yes? Now that it is established that there is only one person who is happy in Kali Yuga. Who is happy? the one who is dead, dear devotees. But the worst situation is when love relationships end up in harming each other up to the point of murder. This is also mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So I will quote a praman from the Srimad Bhagavatam about this. Grantyal parthepi vishrabdham patim bhrataram apyuta.
Sometimes one kills one's own spouse for a small reason.
This, dear devotees, is also mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and you will see this reflected everywhere in the society. In all corners of the society, you will see some examples of this. When we are in such a situation, where is the relief for us? There should be something which should give us relief on an immediate basis and ultimate basis. How many of you would like to find relief from such situations? Please raise your hands. You don't want? Yeah. Dear devotees, Sri Vallabhācārya comes and says one thing. Please do not worry. So he gives a small mantra, a small chant, which followers of his sampradaya chant constantly, in all situations in life. Today I will specify that chant, and in our Gaudiya Vaishnavism also we have an equivalent chant. But today I will specify what the followers of his sampradaya chant, and I will explain to you the meaning of this. Dear devotees, looking at the screen, put your hand on your heart. Remember all the suffering that you are experiencing in life due to any situation that you are in, and immediately say what Sri Vallabhācārya is asking you to say. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna is Mama, my Sharanam, only shelter. Dear devotees, immediately take shelter within your heart. As soon as you spoke those words, you might have felt a sense of great relief. Dear devotees, this immediate process of taking shelter was emphasized by Sri Vallabhācārya. And this is also in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, he quotes a verse by Bhagavan Sri Ram. And I will show you that verse from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quotes a verse from Bhagavan Sri Ram. This is Madhya Leela 22.34. Sakrid eva prapannoya tavasmiti chayachate abhayam sarvadatasmai dadami tadvratam mama. Please read the translation.
It is my vow that if only one seriously surrenders unto me, saying...
Please wait. Saying, please repeat after me. My dear Lord, from this day, I am yours.
And prays to me for fearlessness, I shall immediately award fearlessness to that person, and he will always remain safe from that time on.
Yes. This, dear devotees, is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. And you can see the exact parallel in what Sri Vallabhācārya says. There are many parallels between both the sampradayas. Dear devotees, how many of you felt an immediate sense of relief on saying Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama? Please raise your hands. See, dear devotees, what works in the immediate run is also needed. Krishna Prem will come when it will come, but we need an immediate solution. So dear devotees, the Gaudiya Vaishnava statement equivalent is given in the second line. Please repeat after me. Tava, asmi. Tava means yours, asmi means I am. So please repeat after me. Tava asmi. A very short phrase. Yours I am, Bhagavan. Whenever you feel any distress in your heart, what should you say? Tava asmi. It is made of two words. What are the two words? Tava, asmi. What does tava mean? Yours. And asmi means I am. Right? Dear devotees, this is the equivalent in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. So you can select any one depending on your choice. But let's go back to studying Sri Vallabhācārya in Sri Vallabhācārya's words. Please repeat. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Immediate sense of relief. Dear devotees, Sri Vallabhācārya says to all of us, please repeat after me. Chinta kapi na karya niveditatma kadapiti. Chinta ka api na karya. Now you surrendered. Now don't worry about anything at any point of time. Whenever you start worrying, immediately again repeat. What should you repeat, dear devotees? Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Or the Gaudiya Vaishnava equivalent. Tavasmi. Dear devotees, immediately take shelter again and you will feel that sense of relief again. You will have to keep reminding yourself again and again. This is called Ashraya, taking shelter. What is this known as, dear devotees? Ashraya. And Bhagavan will not let you go once you have taken shelter of Him. Dear devotees, therefore, Sri Vallabhācārya says, a devotee, in order to remain peaceful in his or her journey in this world, should learn three important qualities. What are the three important qualities? Wisdom, patience, surrender. Please repeat after me. Viveka-dhairya-āśraya Rakshaniye tathaśraya Vivekastu harihi sarvam Nijechatah karishyati. Viveka-dhairya satatam rakshaniye. A devotee should always protect the three qualities. Vivek, his wisdom, dhairya, patience, and ashraya, finally surrender. Dear devotees, the first two qualities are not the main ones. The main quality is the third one. Which is the main quality? Surrender. The first two are meant only to bring us to the point of the third quality, which is complete surrender to Bhagavan. There is no use of wisdom or patience if ultimately we do not have surrender. So please protect your wisdom always. Please protect your patience always, so that ultimately you can have ashraya or surrender. And ashraya is the 10th element of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the 10th subject matter of the Srimad Bhagavatam. There are 10 subject matters. Atra sargo visargascha sthanam poshanam utaya manmantareshanu katha nirodho muktir ashraya. Ashraya, the final topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, is surrender to Bhagavan. And what is wisdom? Let's begin with wisdom. The first wisdom, dear devotees. Harihi sarvam nija ichhatah karishyati. That the mature devotee understands that Bhagavan Shri Krishna will do everything by his own desire and not necessarily by our desire. The first mature wisdom is to understand this. Commentators on this point out the following incident. Please hear the incident carefully. In the Mahabharata war, how many direct sons did Pandavas have? 5 Pandavas had how many sons? 5. All 5 of these sons were killed in the Mahabharata war while they were sleeping in their tent. They were killed by the sword of Ashwathama. Did Bhagavan protect these 5 sons of the Pandavas? Please tell me yes or no. No, he let them die. But the grandson of the Pandavas was Parikshit. When that same Ashwathama tried to kill Maharaj Parikshit, Bhagavan suddenly became proactive and entered into the womb of Uttara and protected Parikshit. Somebody should have asked Krishna at that time, Krishna, what is the logic behind letting the sons die and protecting only the grandson? Aren't the Pandavas your pure devotees? Of course they are. Why did you let their sons die and protect only the grandson, Parikshit? What is the answer, dear devotees? What is the answer? Uttara didn't have a husband, okay. Yes, Prabhu.
Although they died, they are ultimately also protected.
Ultimately we are all protected. That is, ultimately at the time of destruction, Mahavishnu will protect us in his body. That's okay. But immediate circumstances, they were supposed to be protected from death.
Bhagavan had a special plan for
Yeah, Bhagavan had a special plan for Parikshit Maharaj. This question was challenging even Bhishma Dev, why Bhagavan has not protected the 5 sons of the Pandavas and has instead chosen to protect Maharaj Parikshit. Bhishma Dev said the following, dear devotees. Na yasya karhichid rajan puman veda vidhitsitam yad vijigyasaya yukta muhyanti kavayopihi. Bhishma Dev's statement.
O king, no one can know the plan of the Lord, Sri Krishna, even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively. They are bewildered.
This is the answer by a Mahajan, dear devotees. Nobody knows what is in his mind. Acha, when Bhishma Dev doesn't know what Krishna wants to achieve, what do we think we will know what Krishna wants to achieve? And dear devotees, therefore Sri Vallabhācārya says, whatever Bhagavan will do by his own desire. Please try to understand. Even with the Pandavas, Bhagavan did what he wanted to do out of his own desire. So in the life of all of us, Bhagavan will also do what he desires, not what we desire. Because suddenly when we take to the path of devotional service, we start feeling that, well, I became a devotee, certainly Krishna must be indebted to me, isn't it? Krishna must behave according to what I want. Otherwise, what sort of Krishna is he? But that is not wisdom. The first wisdom is to understand that Bhagavan will work according to his own sweet will, not according to our will. That is a mature devotee.
Prabhupada used to say, you have your plan, I have my plan.
Yeah. Bhagavan has his own plan. Yeah. So Krishna has his own sweet plan, dear devotees. And therefore, the immediate second wisdom is to understand something. Prarthite va tatah kim syat swamyabhipraya samshayat sarvatra tasya sarvam hi sarvasamarthyam evacha. Prarthite va tatah kim syat. What is the use of going and praying for your own desires in front of Bhagavan? Tell me. Kim syat? What will you achieve? Every day you bring a long list of prayers in front of Bhagavan. Bhagavan, today you are looking very nice. Okay. Bhagavan, today let my spouse behave nicely with me. Let everybody's mind in my family be peaceful. Today let there be no disturbance in my life. Bhagavan, all of this so that I can do your bhakti nicely, Bhagavan. Are, why do you bring every morning your list of demands and put it in front of Bhagavan? It only shows one thing. Swami abhipraya samshayat. You have samshay, you have some doubt in the intentions of your master. And you wish to manipulate your master by giving your list of choices instead of accepting what he wants to do. So why this daily lobbying in front of Bhagavan, that Bhagavan today do this for me, Bhagavan today do that for me. Yeah, and so that I will remain peaceful. So, what is the use of these prayers which are offered with a doubtful nature? What is the doubt? The commentator said, doubt is that Bhagavan doesn't know what is the best for me. I know. And I should somehow put that idea in the mind of Bhagavan, what is best for me. Every morning. So this samshay, this doubt, is there in the minds of many devotees. Maybe Bhagavan doesn't know what I really need. And therefore I need to remind him daily. And therefore Sri Vallabhācārya says, Sarvatra tasya sarvam hi sarva samarthyam evacha. Bhagavan knows you better than you know yourself, because before you utter a prayer in the heart, somebody has already heard it before you utter it. Who has heard it before you utter it? Paramatma, Bhagavan within the heart has already heard it. Bhagavan knows your desires even if you don't pray to him. If you want to pray to him, the indication is, commentators are saying, if you want to pray to Bhagavan for only one thing. How can I please you today? I hope you are able to understand. This is wisdom. This is the second wisdom that one needs to have. Otherwise, bringing a long list of demands every day in front of Bhagavan indicates only one thing, that we have certain doubt in Bhagavan's intentions towards us. So this is the second wisdom that we need to have. Alright, moving ahead. Next wisdom. Abhimanascha santyajya swamyadhinatva bhavanat visheshatasched agyasya antah karana gochara. And abhiman. Does anybody know what is abhiman? False pride. Abhiman is false pride. Sometimes what happens, a devotee falsely starts showing pride. Bhagavan is not listening to me, so I will no longer render any seva.
Done.
You don't listen to me, I don't listen to you. That's it. I'll also show you who I am. This is abhiman. I'll tell you one small incident from personal life. I'll tell you. I used to give these online talks, and devotees used to, join in from various parts of the world. There are many individuals whom I could not meet in person. So sometimes they would send a message, and due to being busy, sometimes I was not able to reply. So one individual, he sent a message, and I was traveling, I could not reply. So next day, he deleted the message and said, Prabhuji, I am very angry on you. I said, Are, we have not even met in person,
Already you are angry.
You are angry with me. At least meet me in person once before being angry on me. So, you can't imagine what devotees might be doing with Bhagavan. They all come with their different moods. When devotees can do this with an ordinary living entity, you can't imagine what sort of expectations they might be having from Bhagavan. Bhagavan, yesterday I asked you that there should be no quarrel at home. Yesterday itself there was a big quarrel at home, which means you are working against my interests. Now I will also show you. Now I will not come to meet you until you fix everything. Bhagavan is thinking, my goodness, what abhiman this person has, Abhiman means what? False pride. Abhimanascha santyajya. Give up all of your false pride, even if Bhagavan works in unfavorable ways. Dear devotees. And with what feeling? Swami adhinatva. That you are a surrendered soul. Dear devotees, yesterday we were speaking, what is prema? Can anybody tell me what is prema? The ability to sacrifice one's own happiness for the happiness of the beloved is prema. If we love somebody, in the Ujjwal Nilmani, Sri Rupa Goswami gives an exact definition of prema. That even if there are thousands and millions of reasons for the relationship to break, the relationship does not break. That is prema, dear devotees. Abhimanascha santyajya. Give up your false pride. Swami adhinatva bhavanat. Considering yourself a loving servant of your master. Visheshatas ched agya syad antah karana gocharaha. If Bhagavan really wants something from you, Bhagavan will personally come and tell you within your heart. With all the great souls, he has done this. He will personally come and tell it within your heart. Dear devotees, with Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavan personally came and instructed him while he was on the Jaladuta ship. Even previously, Bhagavan instructed him. In the case of Sri Vallabhācārya, he says that Bhagavan had instructed him not once, not twice, but thrice to give up the place of his birth and go to Vrindavan. Sri Vallabhācārya did not agree on the first time. He said, I doubt whether this was really Bhagavan. Second time, he did not agree. Third time, when he was at Ganga Sagar, Sri Vallabhācārya, Bhagavan came to him and said, I told you twice, but you are not agreeing. How many confirmations did he wait for? 3. Dear devotees, Visheshatas ched.
This Indian culture.
Yeah, Indian culture. 3 confirmations. Visheshatas ched agya syad. If there is any specific thing Bhagavan wants from you, Bhagavan will tell you. Otherwise, follow your regular sequence of sadhan bhakti without any ups and downs. Follow your regular sadhan bhakti. This is what he says. Feeling completely dependent on the Lord, one should give up false pride and material desires. Great endeavor should not be undertaken unless there is specific order directly from the Lord, that too ascertained after serious deliberation. Next, dear devotees, please repeat after me. Tada vishesha gatyari bhavyam bhinnam tu daihikat apad gatyadikaryeshu hathastyajyascha sarvatha tada vishesha gatyadi bhavyam bhinnam tu daihikat. If a particular service which is unrelated to the world but which is directly related to seva of the Lord, if any seva like preaching etc. has been given by the Lord, execute it by all means. Don't wait for anything then. But in the execution of that seva also, if some emergency arises and you have to pause, then don't become falsely proud that, no, why should I pause? It is a seva from Bhagavan. Sometimes in emergency situations, you need to learn how to adjust your sevas. So don't always remain flexible even if you are rendering seva to Bhagavan. In certain emergency situations, you may have to pause for some time. Dear devotees, even in the seva of Bhagavan, don't become a fanatic. This is the wisdom that he wishes to give. Finally, anagrahascha sarvatra dharma dharmagra darshanam vivekoyam samakyato dhairyam tu vinirupyate. And besides Bhagavan's seva, whatever is there in the material world, whatever practicalities there are in the material world, for that, dear devotees, please remember, anagraha, keep a general spirit of detachment. This is the same thing that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, one should deal with the material world exactly like a customer deals with a shopkeeper. That is what Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. Keep a general spirit of detachment in performing your daily duties and your Vedic duties. And always keep dharma and adharma in your mind and always walk on the path of dharma in worldly life. These are the wisdoms that you need to follow in day-to-day life. Next he says, I will explain the second quality. What is the second quality? Dhairya, patience. But for that, you will have to keep little patience, dear devotees, because that will be done tomorrow. So tomorrow we will learn what is dhairya, patience. And finally, the third quality, which is surrender, āśraya. So today we were taught wisdom. I will tell you once again, I will summarize what is wisdom. The first wisdom is to understand that Bhagwan does everything by his own sweet will. Second thing is, there is no point in trying to manipulate Bhagwan by one's own prayers. Bhagwan understands us better than we understand ourselves. Therefore, there is no point in trying to manipulate Bhagwan according to our desires. The third wisdom is to understand that one should not become falsely proud and give up seva of Bhagwan if Bhagwan behaves in apparently unfavorable ways towards us. And then, dear devotees, one should also understand, if Bhagwan wants us to do something, he will personally order us within the heart, or sometimes directly in front of us. And the final wisdom is that all worldly affairs should be carried out in a spirit of detachment while keeping dharma, general religiosity, Vedic religiosity in your mind. Follow the Vedas, the path of the Vedas and the path of dharma in practical day-to-day activities. And in your seva of Sri Krishna, become one-pointed, dear devotees. This is wisdom. This is the path by which you will be able to navigate the world in a much easier and safer way. And whenever you fall into any distress, immediately take āśraya. And what was the statement of āśraya that he had specified? Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Shri Krishna is my sole refuge. Whenever you fall into any difficulty, repeat that statement. So this is his teaching. But āśraya will come later. Alright, dear devotees? Thank you very much. Yadatra skhalitam kinchit vidvam saha purayantu tad. Yadatra saushthavam kinchit tad guror eva me nahi. Yadatra skhalitam kinchit. It is possible I might have made some mistakes in explaining vidvam saha. You are learned devotees, purayantu tad. Please correct any mistakes. But yadatra saushthavam kinchit. Whatever was nice, please remember that guror eva. It belongs to the previous gurus and acharyas. Me nahi. It doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premananda. So we have some time for comments, Q&A. Devotees who wish to ask. Yes.
Just a second.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was wondering, when we go through life and we try at least to sincerely serve Krishna, if these are not things, at least when I look at my own life, that these are not things that Krishna, by His grace, will make clear to us just by going through devotional service.
Yeah. Simply by the process of advancement, many of these things will become obvious. But unfortunately, the fact is that many people are not able to advance because they don't have that required mindset. As Srila Prabhupada said, advancement in Krishna consciousness depends upon the attitude of the follower. So sometimes an individual is not able to develop a proper attitude in their Krishna bhakti, and because of that you might have also seen many people leave the path because of misunderstanding the path or not understanding it correctly. Therefore sometimes external help is needed in order to make sure that we do not misunderstand the path of Krishna bhakti. So that is the otherwise, if somebody is fortunate and advances rapidly, they will automatically understand all these things. But most people may not be able to advance at this pace. Therefore, they need some support from previous acharyas. So that is the reason why it is spoken. Alright? Yes, Prabhu.
I have a question from Shamananda Prabhu, who is listening online.
Yeah.
And his question is, we can't manipulate the Lord, but is he not affected or willing to change based upon the sincerity and bhakti of our prayers?
Yeah, we can't manipulate the Lord, But isn't he willing to change according to the sincerity of our prayers? Definitely, if the prayers are related to our bhajan and his seva. Problem is we manipulate the Lord based on our material desires. And a direct answer to that is given by Bhagavan himself in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Please repeat after me, Madhya 22.39. Ami vigya e murkhe Vishaykena diba Svacharanamrita diya Vishay bulaiba. Since I am very intelligent, why should I give this full material prosperity? The thought process of Shri Krishna. This is a statement by Shri Krishna in Chaitanya Charitamrita. The indication is, since I am more intelligent than this jiva, why should I agree to this jiva's material prayers? Because this jiva's material prayers are most likely going to help him fall further down. Rather, I will do what I want and make him forget all of it. Now, Shri Krishna can take any means to do that. Shri Krishna can either make you like Pururava, make you fall in material love and then fall out of it and then become detached. Shri Krishna can make you like Yayati, get married and then again unhappy, then take again the age of his own son, then again enjoy, then again unhappy and then detached. Or Shri Krishna can snatch everything away like Avanti Brahmana and force you to be detached. Somehow or other Bhagavan knows how to make a devotee detached from the material world and get attached to his feet. But that Bhagavan will decide what will work for a certain person. Will giving material enjoyment immediately and then later taking it away work, or immediately snatching away material enjoyment will work for this person? That Bhagavan should decide. But as far as prayers related to bhakti are concerned, those are very valid prayers. They are called Lalsa Mai Prarthana in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Lalsa Mai means prayers for hankering for a particular service towards Bhagavan. That Bhagavan will definitely listen to because that is related to Bhagavan's pleasure. But prayers related to the devotee's own material sense enjoyment or material fulfillment, Bhagavan will decide by his own sweet will. So in that we should not try to manipulate Bhagavan. That is the devotee who has wisdom within them. So that is the answer to the query. Okay? Yeah.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, thank you. Can you please elaborate the fourth wisdom a little more? Like, when do I really understand that Bhagavan himself or in my heart is speaking to me and it's not my whimsical mind telling me?
Yeah. So, when is it that Bhagavan is speaking within me and giving me a particular order and it is not my mind? Bhagavan gives certain external indications. In Brihad Bhagavatamritam, one such indication is mentioned. Agyamala. Have you heard of Agyamala? No? So I will. This is Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. He was praying for writing Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prabhur charane jadi Agya magaila Prabhu kantha haite mala Khasiya padila. Mataji, kindly read what he said.
When I prayed to the Lord for permission, a garland from his neck immediately slipped down.
Yeah, devotees take some indications like that. But this may be preliminary indication. Then indications have to come from other sources. Without you asking the devotees should also express the same thought. And it should confirm from various sources. Like Srila Prabhupada, he was thinking about taking sannyas. Whether should I take sannyas or not, should I take sannyas or not. Then in his dream, he got a dream of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, why don't you take sannyas? Srila Prabhupada still not fully convinced, maybe my figment of imagination, I should not take it so seriously in the first dream. In the second dream, and then third dream, it happened. Now it is confirmed. And then Srila Prabhupada also recounts the incident of a postman coming to him and saying, because he was back to Godhead, and some back to Godhead had come return. So the postman had brought it back to him. And postman was saying, Swamiji, it's a very nice magazine. Why don't you distribute everywhere in the world? My guru said the same thing to me decades ago. Why don't you distribute everywhere in the world in the English language? So it is as if my guru came in the form of the postman and told me. So Bhagavan, when he will give repeated confirmations without you seeking it out, you should know that either Bhagavan will give a direct dream, but even after that dream, the tradition of the previous acharyas is they wait for external confirmations, and only then do they consider it as agya of Bhagavan, as order of the Bhagavan. So that is how you can ascertain. I hope that is clear. Okay. Anybody else?
I have one.
Yeah.
Related.
Yeah.
What if you misinterpret something, like, the message that maybe, or confused?
Bhagavan will not let that happen. Because Bhagavan has said,
What was the question?
What if you misinterpret Bhagavan's order? Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto mattah smritir jnanam apohanam cha. Please read Mataji, the translation.
I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness.
So whatever knowledge will come to you, the precise understanding will also come from Bhagavan. If Bhagavan wants to tell you something, Bhagavan will give you his understanding within your heart. Not your misinterpretation of his understanding. He will give his understanding within your heart. Isn't it? So that is what. So like there was this mathematician, Ramanujan. So he said, Devi, she revealed within my heart the mathematical formula. So how do you know it's not a misinterpretation? Of course, she revealed what she wanted me to know. Alright? It is not a misinterpretation. When Bhagavan will reveal, he will reveal what he wants you to know. You will not have any doubt at that point of time.
You still wait for
Yeah, you wait for confirmation. That is the etiquette followed by previous acharyas. You wait for confirmation. Yeah. Right? Yes, Prabhu.
So actually, I had another question before, but you answered it in the question of Premananda Prabhu. So my question was, you mentioned about prayer, and we can see in the story of Mohini Murti, where Shiva actually went with Sati, that he approached Krishna. He actually first praised Krishna, and then he gave his mind. Also in our Vaishnava bhajans, we see that all the Vaishnava acharyas, they actually praise Krishna first, and then they put up their mind what they actually long. But then you mentioned that if it's for Krishna's service, then it's all okay.
Yes.
But then we are also encouraged in our daily life, especially as unified devotees, that we should actually pour our hearts to Krishna. So whatever we feel, whatever we want to say, we come in front of the Lord and pour our heart. So how should we, as a unified devotee, be careful that we pray or pour our heart in such a way that we don't get disappointed? What should be the limit?
Yeah. So there is a technical name for pouring out your heart in front of Krishna, because pouring one's heart in front of is a big phrase. You can put it in one small term. Vigyapti is the term. It is one of the 64 limbs of bhakti in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. So Vigyapti. What is Vigyapti? you come in front of Bhagwan and describe your situation. That Bhagwan, this is how I am. Bhagwan, yesterday was not a good day. I tried a lot to remember you, but there were so many disturbances. I was constantly pestered by this disease and I could not favorably remember you. I don't know what I am going to do today. This is Vigyapti. I hope you are able to. This is Vigyapti. And Vigyapti doesn't have an element of trying to manipulate Bhagwan. It has the element of describing your situation as it is. What has happened in my life. This is I am pouring out in front of you. Manipulation is prarthana. Bhagwan, if only today could be better, and I could feel better today, if people would behave nicely towards me today, I think that would be much better. So that is when Sri Vallabhācārya says, why are you losing your wisdom? Wisdom is to understand Bhagwan will do everything according to his desire. So Vigyapti is allowed. You can describe your situation to Bhagwan. And Bhagwan already knows it, but you are describing it so that you can pour your heart out. But using it as leverage to manipulate Bhagwan into improving your material situation is not encouraged by Sri Vallabhācārya. That is alright. I hope that. Thank you. Yes, there are 2, 3.
Can we have these as 3 last questions?
3 last. Okay. Yeah, Prabhu.
If Krishna is directing everything and everything goes according to Krishna's plans, does that include also my mistakes and weaknesses?
If Krishna is directing everything and everything is going according to his plan, does it include the mistakes that I am making? In a certain way, yes. And Srila Prabhupada quotes the Kaushitaki Brahman Upanishad in his commentary to Bhagavad Gita 5.15, and he says something. Dear devotees, please repeat. I will speak this. Kaushitaki Brahman Upanishad, Prabhupada says, Esha uhyeva sadhu karma karayati tamyamebhyo lokebhyo unninishate. Esha ueva sadhu karma karayati yam adho ninishate. The Lord engages the living entity in pious activities so he may be elevated, and the Lord engages him in impious activities so he may go to hell. My goodness. So which means that who is responsible for my downfall? Bhagwan is responsible for my chalo, theek hai. Bhagwan is responsible for my downfall. No. This is a big section in the Vedanta Sutra where an allegation is made on Bhagwan. Bhagwan is biased and cruel. So Vyasadeva tackles that allegation by saying it is a fact that Bhagwan elevates a living entity, Bhagwan pushes down a living entity. It's a fact. But Bhagwan does not do that out of his biased nature. And the Acharyas explain in the commentary, Bhaskaracharya explains in his commentary, Bhagwan is parjanyavad, Bhagwan is like rainfall. What is the meaning of rainfall? When rain falls, it falls equally in a particular place. But in certain part of the ground, you have a thorny tree growing, and in a certain part of ground you have a lotus flower growing. Is it fault of the rainfall that at a certain part a thorny tree grows and at a certain part a lotus flower grows? Is it the fault of the rainfall? No. Whose fault is it? The seed. So depending on the seed that we have laid in previous lives, Bhagwan simply, fans the seed of previous life. If the previous seed is negative, Bhagwan fans the negative seed. If the previous seed is positive, Bhagwan fans the positive seed. And after you have exhausted that Bhagwan will again fan you in the opposite direction. That is how Bhagwan works. So this is the answer to the question.
And Bhagwan always provides satsang.
Yeah, Bhagwan always also provides the opportunity to get out of the world by engaging in sadhu sangha. That option is always there. But normal karma, this is how Bhagwan encourages a living entity to perform pious or impious activities based on their previous seeds that they have sown. So I hope that answers your query. Yeah.
Yes, Vishnu, thank you very much. You just mentioned the word prarthana.
Yeah.
It was actually not the same as Srila Narottam Das Thakur. You can.
Yeah. Prarthana is the name of Srila Narottam Das Thakur's composition. and it is his prarthana. It is called Sri Narottam Prarthana. Actually, that is the name of this book, Sri Narottam Prarthana. It is his prayers on Uttama Bhakti, and in that there are two moods that he takes. One is the mood of a sadhaka, where he is praying as a sadhaka. One is the mood of a siddha, as a perfected. In a sadhaka mood, you will say Gauranga Karuna Karo, O Mahaprabhu, be merciful on me, I am very fallen, and so on and so forth. And then suddenly you will find Radha Krishna Pranamora Jugal Kishore. So there are two compartments in Prarthana. One is the compartment of an advancing sadhaka. One is the compartment of a perfected siddha, where he is able to, in his samadhi, see himself as a perfected associate of Sri Radha Krishna, and that is what he is composing in his book. In Prarthana you will find both types of prayers. That is Sri Narottam Prarthana. That is the full name of the book.
Okay, the way you related first, that was actually material.
Prarthana is a term for any general prayer. It can be material or spiritual. But Sri Narottam Das Thakur's Prarthana is based on Rupa Goswami. So the general meaning of the term Prarthana is prayer. Alright, so this, yes.
Yes, Prabhu. I was thinking when you were quoting the Savasya Chamli, the Sarvista verse, I was listening to your lectures on Madhvacharya last week, and I was wondering why, if there's so many pure devotees, Vallabhācārya, Madhvacharya, and then later on, why the knowledge that Krishna gives then is so different? Is that because people at the time, that was what they could comprehend? Because they're all pure devotees, so they all get the knowledge from Krishna, so why is there so much difference?
Why is there so much difference? Yeah. Srila Prabhupada in a letter said this thing. This is the direct statement by Srila Prabhupada in a letter to Upendra. As far as your question about Shantaras and opinions of Rupa Goswami and Sridhar Swami, I don't remember. You can send the appropriate passage. There is no reason why Acharyas cannot differ on certain points. So first Srila Prabhupada makes it very clear that even Sri Rupa Goswami in some places is going to differ from Srila Sridhar Swami. So there is no reason why Acharyas cannot differ on certain points. Why? Because this is the beauty of Vedic culture. Munde matir bhinna. Every different person sees differently. Different realizations. And every realization is correct. And Bhagavan is like a Vaidurya Mani. Vaidurya Mani is a special gem which gives a different shade when you look from a different angle. And since the different acharyas are situated at different times and they look at Bhagavan from different angles, so they see different shades of Bhagavan. And that is how they describe, and all those descriptions are 100% correct. And this is what Kapil Muni also says in 332.26. This is the last verse I am quoting. Jnana matram param brahma Paramatmeshwarah puman Drishyadivi prithak bhavai Bhagavaneka iyate. Mataji, please read the translation. You can see the screen? Yeah, please read.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead alone is complete transcendental knowledge. But according to the different processes of understanding, he appears differently, either as impersonal Brahman, as Paramatma, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or as Purusha Avatar.
Yeah, that's it. The same Bhagavan appears differently to different individuals. And not only that, even in Bhagavan, various forms are according to the mind of the individual. 3.9.11 Yad yad dhiyat urugaya vibhavayanti tattad vapuh pranayase sadanugrahaya. Prabhupada translates, you are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in that particular form of transcendence in which they always think of you. This is how specialized Bhagavan is. And therefore all realizations pertaining to Bhagavan by the pure devotees are correct. And there is no disharmony, because we don't belong to a black and white culture. our culture is as vibrant as a Vaidurya-mani. Alright, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hari Prasad Prabhu ki.
Srila Prabhupada ki.
Prabhu ki.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna. So please come at 5:30.